It's been a couple of days. Um, I have not been feeling myself lately. It's been a little wonky in here and just all around. Um, it's strange because it feels like I'm going through a like because how do I even say this honestly? Okay, I don't care what people think about what I'm gonna say, so I'm just gonna put this out there. Feels like I'm going through a depression or something of the sort, and I'm not, you know, saying any of this like I'm self-diagnosing or whatever. I was a long time ago diagnosed with MTD, and I just try not to make that shit my personality. Like, I'm not saying anyone does. I'm just saying for me, personally, I don't really talk about this stuff. I when I used to talk about it, I would talk to my closest friends about it, but again, not really something I would talk about a lot. Just go through the motions and rot on my own for the most part. Now, I'm going through this from a somewhat more informed space. Like, I'm not invalidating what I'm feeling, but also whatever thoughts and negative ideas that come up right now, whenever they pop up in my head, they don't resonate anymore. I know they don't. It doesn't feel like it's true anymore. Like, anything negative I have to say about myself. And it's not even like I'm saying it with any certainty. Like, in my head, it just goes like, am I like this? And I'm like, no, you're not. um, yeah, I've just been in a weird space of, I guess, doubt. So maybe it's not like a full on depression, but there's a lot of doubt in my mind right now. And honestly, it's it's also got to do with the fact that it's also part of the reason why I haven't really tried to talk on video again for a couple of days because I just wasn't feeling right. Like I was there in the right headspace to talk about anything. And honestly, I'm still not. I'm not in the best headspace. But I feel like, it would be good to talk a bit. About what? I'm not really sure. But I'll talk anyway. It's quite hot though. I don't want to move the fan. I'll deal with it first. And then we'll see how bad it gets later. So, where do we start? Okay, so right now I have breakfast. Chia pudding. Got around to making it again last night. I've been feeling so inflamed, bloated, just everything like the past several days. I don't know what it means. Although, every time I say I don't know what it means, I think specifically of the fact that I don't sleep. I don't sleep well. I sleep at ungodly hours and only for short periods, and then I go to work where I sit all day. I mean, like about 90% of my day is spent sitting. So, obviously, that's not a very good combination. And like the food that I eat, I try to be conscious about it. As much as I can with what I am, um, with what's available to me. Because, you can't be too picky sometimes. Not entirely sure where I was going with that. I know. My breakfast. With the sole purpose of eating something that could help with inflammation. That's why there are chia seeds in here. I don't know, does honey help? But anyway, I used honey for sweetener. I'm trying to avoid sugars, refined sugars. Not because, yeah, they're kind of bad. Not because of that, but I've never really been one for sweets, and I don't know why. I guess the depression from the past. I wasn't even depressed the past several months. I just kind of developed like a reliance to artificial sweeteners. Guys, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not any sort of professional that can like say whatever the fuck these terms are. I'm just here to share my lived experience. And my lived experience is that I'm inflamed as fuck. I'm bloated as fuck, and I need to work on the shit. And also, I'm super dehydrated, by the way. Super dehydrated. I know I've been trying to drink more water, but obviously it's still not enough. So I still wake up feeling dehydrated, and I still spend most of my days feeling dehydrated. So, how can you like up the ante with hydration? Like, what do you call that? The salts, the rehydration salts. Yeah, there's that, but like anything else that doesn't taste as bad and isn't super processed, like you'd have to buy like a Gatorade or something. I don't know. Maybe all it'll take is like a quick Google search. I just can't be bothered right now. And here I have random ass tea that I whipped up. It's not super random because I asked ChatGPT actually. So it's lemon, turmeric, black pepper, and then I just added a little peppermint baggie in there because it might work. It's good though. I'm not gonna lie, it's good. Like, would I make this again? Yes, definitely I will make this again. So, what do I want to talk about here? Well, honestly, I don't have any ideas. I just know I feel icky. I feel not great. And maybe there's something to talk about there. Because it's so strange being in this state right now. Because, like I said earlier, I used to get really depressed. Like, I would have. I think the worst one that I had was when I was living alone, which kind of built a lot of, like, um, distrust in my system when it comes to the idea of moving out and being alone. I did not trust myself for a long time after that. I'm only starting to kind of rewrite that narrative now because I'm looking to move out eventually, right? And now I want to do it being at peace with myself and knowing that I can take care of myself. And I know I can take care of myself now. Okay, anyway. There was a time back in, I think, 2021? Yeah, 2021. So I was living alone. It was dorming, but it was really a condo setup. And I was so depressed for like how many months? And I'm not even kidding, it was really bad. I would literally eat, at most, 1 to 2 spoonfuls of whatever food for that day. And I sounded like Stitch for a bit there. Sorry, so much congestion. Um, my bed was so close to my desk, like it's literally arm's reach. And my jug was always there. I never touched it. Like, I couldn't even be bothered to get my water. I couldn't be bothered to get out of bed. One of my closest friends at the time would literally have to visit me. She was like in the same condo complex but in a different building. She would literally come up to my room to see if I've even like moved or eaten or done anything. And then when she'd see that I was just like in the same position, sometimes I just literally like be lying there in my towel because I was either supposed to shower or I just came from my shower, and I'd just be like lying in bed, dead to the world. Not even asleep, awake, literally awake. Sometimes just crying, and she'd come up and she'd see me and she'd, I don't know, super sweet. I miss her. She would prepare food for me, and she'd give me my water, and she'd make me sit up, and she'd check in on me. That was sweet. I miss that. I mean, I miss her. We don't talk anymore. for big important reasons that maybe one day we'll talk about. But anyway, yeah, that's how bad it was before. It even got to a point where I called the national helpline for because I know, like, we should be more comfortable saying these words, but also the whole thing about trigger warnings and, like, things that you shouldn't be talking about on social media. I don't know, I'm not well informed enough, guys. I know exactly what I need to know at this point in time, okay? And if there's any missing information, I will seek it out. Yes. Okay, so, anyway, I called the national helpline, and they did kind of help me set up my first ever appointment with a psychiatrist. But that was 1 month of waiting, I think. Or a little over 1 month of waiting before I could even get, like, a confirmed appointment. But yeah, I mean, that shit was bad before. I've definitely made strides since. I have not been that way since. I've had I had really bad depressive episodes last year. But, they were still not like that because I was living alone then. This time, I was rotting with my family around. So, I still had to eat because, we share meals together, especially at night. So, where was I going with that? At this point, I've built enough trust in myself to be able to take care of myself and to give it a go again. Because, like, where else am I supposed to go anyway? What else am I supposed to do other than to just do it? Right? Sorry for talking with my mouth full. Oh, I think you saw that. Sorry. Anyway, just going back to what I was saying earlier. These doubts, these old thought patterns that I had from my depressive episodes or from old versions of me who used to believe in the things that depressed me would say. She's getting triggered right now because of the way that I'm feeling. And I guess she's asking questions. I guess that's why it's coming up. Because, like, I'm hearing the same things from before, but they're not resonating. They don't feel real. It just feels like, it's not true. But, like, I'm not annoyed. I don't know how to describe it. It's like, what's an example that I can give? Alright, so, like, body image is, like, one super big thing for me. Having grown up with ballet and needing to maintain lines and certain body shape and whatever and size. So body image is sort of a tender thing for me. I've been working on it, especially during this period of, like, transformation, growth, healing, and I have not been the most attentive to, like, I'm working on it. I'm working on body awareness. But I've been focusing on other aspects of body awareness that I haven't been focusing on the physically fit side, which I was super heavy on, like, the past several years of my life. And now that I'm not really focused on, like, going to the gym or whatever, and I'm just focused on, like, what does my body need today? I think I'll eventually get back into that when I have the headspace for it. But yeah, right now it's just like, because I haven't been focusing on that. I've been putting on a little weight, and I'm trying to analyze, like, what am I doing wrong? But I'm like, I'm not doing anything wrong, really. I mean, it's the sleep, and I have to manage some of the things that I eat sometimes, but other than that, like, not doing anything wrong. But again, like I said, body image was the thing for me for the longest time, and so now people are pointing out, like, hey, you look like you got fat. Hey, you got a little fat. Hey, just, like, these aren't bad things, really. But of course, the little girl in me who was taught to not become fat and taught to hate that word, she's reeling. She's definitely reeling. And I'm really, like, trying to ooh, hold myself through these moments because, like, no, calm down. There's nothing wrong. I guess I'm bringing that up specifically because it was just last night. Just last night, I went to pick up a package downstairs at the guardhouse, and the guard gave it to me, and he looked at me and he was like, "Hey, you look like you got fat, ma'am." I was like, and I could just say, it was like, "Yeah, I did." And then he said, "Do you go to the gym?" Like, does this matter? Is this really relevant information to you? Like, why do you have to ask? So I just said, like, you know what? Not lately. Irked me a bit, but also, like, wasn't annoyed at him, because to me it's just more like, okay, he's just genuinely asking. Like, they don't know. They don't know, like, how this triggers me or this triggers certain people. Thankfully, I think, because I have a bit more of an understanding perspective, I did not take it to heart the same way that maybe an old version of me would have, or like some people these days. And nothing against them. They have every right to feel what they feel. It's just that, I'm not gonna hold anything against him because I know he's not coming from a very informed place. Especially about me, about my life. Not this guy doesn't know jack shit about me. Okay. Anyway. While I did not take it to heart, of course there's that um old there were these old feelings coming up, like, oh shit, somebody called you fat. Oh shit, you're fat. And it's just like, and I know they're not mine. I don't know how to describe that or how to explain why I know they're not mine. Maybe they're not mine anymore because these are thoughts from old versions of me that, aren't actively holding the reins of my life, if that makes sense. Like, I am a new version of myself right now. A more informed, more understanding, more caring version towards myself specifically. Because I'm already all that to begin with other people. I just needed to I really needed to pour that into myself. And so I've been doing that. And so now I've got like two people inside me who are just like yammering on and on. One is just like, am I fat? Am I not desirable? Am I not wanted? And the other is just like, calm down, babe. Like, they didn't mean anything by it. And that's where I was at last night. And today, I'm not really there anymore in the body image part, but I am feeling the heaviness, the weight of that's why I say it feels like I'm in some sort of depression, because it feels like the weight of depression. But the thought patterns aren't resonating. Does that make sense? Anyway, my confidence has been shot too for like past few days. I think I can relate that to how yesterday we actually had a company outing at uh, the hotel had a company outing. It was split into two, and I was part of the second batch, which happened yesterday. And this is a bunch of people who, I'm not shitting on them, but we don't think the same. They're very much in the system, very much 9 to 5ers or like whatever. Like, not looking down on anyone in the service industry, but like I'm saying, these are people who are heavily in that life and are okay with being in that life. And like, nothing against you. It's just I don't think the same. We don't have the same perspectives on the system. Or maybe we do. I don't want to judge everyone just yet. I just mean that, like, as a collective, as a whole, they kind of think the same. They share the same little joys, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I don't fit in. That's the point. I don't fit in. Okay, and I try not to make a big deal out of it because I already know that they kind of have some preconceived notions about me because of how I got the job, because they think my dad is friends with the general manager. No, he's not, by the way. He just happens to have her number because, he works for a different. He works for the parent company of this whole thing. And obviously, he has to be in touch. He's in marketing. And he just asked if there was an opening. She didn't say, yes, I'll take her in. No, I went through the whole process, okay? But anyway, this kind of grinds my gears a bit because people, a lot of people there who don't know me personally think that I'm there because of a favor. I put in the work. I do the shit that I have to do. Anyway, there's already that idea of me. And I didn't want to participate in a lot of the things that they were doing yesterday. I know I was really trying to, like, think, okay, maybe I can do some stuff. Just kind of, like, quell these ideas of me being a royalty or whatever it is that you want to call me. Also, I didn't bring shit for swimming. I didn't bring any other extra things. Like, I really thought it was gonna rain. So, like, I'm not gonna get wet at the beach for the sake of whatever it is that you want. Like, I don't know if any of this is making sense, guys. I just really realized through this team building experience that I'm not meant to be in these team building experiences. And if I'm supposed to be team building, it's not like this. It's not gonna be like this. If I'm to have my own team one day, we're not gonna be building our spirits like this. Okay. That's all I realized from that. But anyway, I just felt so disconnected. Like, I was grateful that the outing was at the beach, so at least there's some form of grounding happening. I was able to just, like, look at the view and be like, okay. But at the same time, the people around me like, why aren't you swimming? What are you doing just lying there? Why aren't you drinking with us? Like, drink with us. Oh my god, that too. There's, like, this group of men who, usually at work, when I see them, like, hey, what's up? Now they're all in a fucking circle. They're like, Miss Sam, drink with us, drink with us. I'm like, I don't want to. And I could really feel myself, like an old version of myself coming up there, where she was just like, if you turn people down, they're not gonna want to hang out with you again. If you turn people down, they're not gonna want to drink with you again. They're not gonna ask you out to hang out with them. And at the same time, like, do I care? I don't want to. I don't want to drink with them. So again, it's just like this whole battle of like two people inside me again. And it's just left me feeling so disconnected the whole day. Cause it's like, I felt so out of body. Like, I was in this space with all these people and I wasn't fully interacting with all of them. It's kind of in my own world. Thankfully, my boss was also just very like chill. So we were chilling together. Like, you can't say shit to me because my boss is chilling too. So, yeah, it's just feeling a lot of like disconnection, and I guess that kind of shot my confidence. That's where I was going with this. Kind of shot my confidence because I was feeling like the old wounds of like, am I desirable or not? Is my presence something that people will want around, even if I say no to them about some of the things that they want? Like, cause I felt like my security and my confidence growing up, from like high school all the way to like college, was heavily dependent on how much I could say yes to people. Like, if I could just like show them like I'm down for everything, I'm game to do anything and everything. And I used to think that that's what made me desirable, was because I could just do anything. Well, enough of that, because I spent the past 4 years of my life in a relationship where I was the yes girl in all the worst ways possible. We're not doing that anymore. So anyway, I honestly don't know where this is going. I really don't. But yeah, I guess I just wanted to come here and talk about things because my confidence has been it was so, what's the term? Shot. So bad that I started to question, like, what am I even doing on, like, talking to myself on YouTube? What am I even doing on social media or whatever it is? What is this thing that I'm trying to do with my presence? And, like, we're gonna nip that in the bud. I need to kind of realign again. I am starting to kind of care what people think again, and I don't want that. Again, I think it's just because it was triggered lately, specifically yesterday. Yesterday was like a lot. Old versions of me were coming up and desperate for attention. Sorry about that. But yeah, we're here to kind of put this out there and just reclaim, no, we will not be falling for that shit anymore. Okay? Because, like, I'm okay. I mean, I'm not gonna invalidate how I feel right now and pretend I'm not actually okay. But, like, technically, I have not done anything wrong. There's nothing wrong going on. These are internal struggles that I do have to deal with. Yes, that's true. But also, I have not become any less desirable, any less wanted. I have not become anything less than what I already know I am. Simply because I know that I am what I am. If that makes sense. Unshakable foundation, baby. That's where I'm at. Even though it doesn't always feel like it, she's still there. I'm still standing strong, still holding the fort. We're still good. You're still good. And so I'll end that there. Um, that might not be my happiest video. If anyone relates, that's great. If you don't, it's cool too. If you stuck around, that's great. If you didn't, it's cool too. Like, live life how you want, okay? Live life how you want. Get out of your head. Stop thinking too much about what other people think. They only think about themselves anyway, okay? And so, as you should be thinking about yourself too. Just think about what you want. What does your body want? What do you want? How do you want to dress? How do you want to eat? Do whatever the fuck you want. Move through this world however the fuck you want. As long as it's in tune and aligned with your highest self, I would say, but that's kind of like a harder concept to like get with. I mean, whatever allows you to move through this world and grow without intentionally causing harm to other people. That's all I can say. And how can you avoid that? Is if you really look inside and see, what do I want for myself? Does any of that make sense? I hope it does. I really hope it does. I'm gonna end this here because I feel like I've yapped enough and I don't want to overthink it, so I'm just gonna upload this straight away. I hope you all have a lovely day, night, afternoon, life. Just live a good life. Live for yourself. And then you can live to help others. All over the place. I don't know anymore. Bye. I love you all.